Mom, please tell Grandpa for me that I'm willing to go back and get engaged in an arranged marriage. Really? My mom was a bit delighted, but then she realized something was off. Wait a minute. What about that girlfriend of yours whom you've been dating for several years? It's true that we hope you can find someone from a similar background, but if there's no girlfriend anymore, arrange the marriage for me. My mom didn't rush to ask for the reason. Think about it for a couple more days. Although it's the partner your grandpa carefully selected for you, and now she's in charge of some investment company under their family's name. But for something as important as marriage, Mom still hopes you won't act impulsively. Mom, I'm not being impulsive. I've already thought it through. I talked on the phone with my sister yesterday, and she accidentally let it slip that our family's capital chain is on the verge of breaking, and an arranged marriage is the best solution. Of course, I, who was once so infatuated with my girlfriend that I was willing to break with the whole family for her, would have absolutely refused an arranged marriage before. The only reason can be that my infatuation is dead. It's time for me to wake up. I glanced through the floor-to-ceiling windows in the direction where my girlfriend Ava had been staring absent-mindedly just now, and the corner of my lips curled into a self-deprecating smile. Once upon a time, she also looked at me with such unwavering eyes. During the 4 years of college, she pursued me for 3 years. I asked her what she liked about me. She smiled like a silly girl and said she liked how handsome I was, and no one was as handsome as me. I didn't like silly girls, but later I was touched by her inner sincerity. However, I didn't agree easily. But Ava didn't care at all. She wrote one love letter after another. She waited for me downstairs with breakfast every day without fail, rain or shine, and we went to class together. When my roommate got a new gaming laptop, she took every opportunity to do part-time jobs, saved up money to buy one for me, and said that since others had it, her future boyfriend should have it too. When I was in a bad mood, she tried her best to tell jokes to make me laugh. Even when I frowned, she would ask what was wrong. But in the end, nothing could withstand the relationship of childhood sweethearts. 2 months ago, her childhood sweetheart suddenly came to Jinxing to visit her. The first time I met them, I noticed that she didn't have a proper sense of boundaries when getting along with William. But I thought William would leave after a few days of playing, so I didn't take it seriously. Unexpectedly, he became Ava's personal assistant and stayed in Jinxing. When I asked about this, Ava just said that they happened to be hiring, and it's better to keep the benefits within the family. But since then, the number of times she went on business trips and worked overtime has become more and more frequent. Staying out all night has become a common occurrence. The day before yesterday, I went to the administrative department to check the attendance records and found out that the two of them had already been inseparable. They went on business trips together, just the two of them. But the reimbursement invoices provided to the finance department only included the cost of one executive suite. As for working overtime, it's even worse. When I came out of Ava's office, William at the door stood up from his workstation. He smiled provocatively and said, "James, why do you look so bad? Did you have a fight with Ava?" I didn't bother to look at him and was about to walk past him. "James." He stopped me. "You'll be 30 years old next year. Grow up a bit." Rueda Investment has been reluctant to give the green light on the financing matter. Ava is already very worried. Even if you can't help her, don't distract her at such a crucial moment. I frowned slightly and looked at him calmly. "James, this company was founded by Ava and me together. If she can let you stay, I can also make you leave." "You?" He didn't expect me to be so tough. He was taken aback and deliberately said, "I'm just giving you some well-intentioned advice. If you think it sounds harsh, just ignore it. Why do you want to drive me away?" "Who dares to drive him away?" Ava came out and said in a somewhat cold tone, "James, he's alone in Jinxing and not familiar with the place. If there's anything he said that's not right, can't you be more tolerant? Alone in Jinxing. Wasn't I also the one who chose to stay alone in Jinxing for her sake?" A surge of bitterness welled up in my heart. I looked at her indifferently and said, "Ava, I'm giving you a chance to choose. Either he leaves, or I leave." Ava frowned. "James, don't create trouble out of nothing." I was slightly stunned. I was a bit dazed. I thought for a long time but couldn't remember the last time she called me by my full name. Most of the time, she would throw herself into my arms and call me James softly. "James, are you misunderstanding the relationship between me and Ava? We're just good friends who grew up together." William looked a bit at a loss and turned to Ava. "Ava, I heard that James comes from a wealthy family and must have been doted on since childhood. You should be more tolerant of him. Don't quarrel with him because of me." I'm used to hardship since I was a child. It doesn't matter if I go to work in another company. As long as James is happy, I can pack my things and leave Jingcheng. James. Ava didn't hide the look of pity in her eyes. I tugged at the corner of my lips self-deprecatingly and left straight away. When I graduated from college, my father originally intended for me to return to Jingshi and take over the family business gradually after 2 years of experience. But at that time, I was so infatuated that I had a big argument with my dad because of Ava and insisted on staying in Jingcheng. Just because my dad said, with her family background, "Is she worthy of you?" I silently led Ava to start a business, often drinking until the early hours of the morning for a contract. In order to make my parents accept her one day, I stepped back to the design department and handed over the management of the company to her. Unexpectedly, I didn't get Ava's loyalty and devotion in return. All I got was a stomach that ached every now and then. My mom let out a sigh. "Then when do you plan to go back to Jingshi?" "In half a month." After hanging up the phone, I looked back at the towering building and the corner of my lips curved into a bitter smile. "Ava. I gave you a chance to choose. You didn't take it. Well, then I don't want you either." When I got home, I sat on the sofa for a long time. The signs of the breakdown of my relationship with Ava actually began to show up last month. At first, I just couldn't figure out how our relationship could change so suddenly. Every time I suspected the relationship between her and William, she would say, "You're overthinking it. I just treat him as a big brother next door, so I take a bit more care of him." At first, I really believed her. Because the way she treated me was genuine, and I firmly believed that she loved me. It was during a friend's gathering. She drank too much, and I went to pick her up. It was then that I accidentally learned the reason from her equally drunk best friend. Ava and William. They grew up together. Before Ava pursued you, she even confessed to him, but he didn't agree. The friendship between childhood sweethearts can't be easily let go. The reason she pursued you is that your eyes are quite like William's. But don't worry. All of us sisters are persuading her to be with you properly. That bastard William probably thought her family was poor before. Now that he sees how rich she is, he came back to her. Did he die? It was only when the reminder sound of the traditional Chinese medicine decocted in the health pot rang that I came back to my senses. My stomach has been aching frequently these days, so I went to the traditional Chinese medicine clinic to get some medicine yesterday. I drank a bowl of brown traditional Chinese medicine, and it was extremely bitter. I looked around the home I had carefully decorated and made a firm mark on the calendar. There are still 14 days left. Then, I started to clean up bit by bit. Jingcheng and Jingshi are located in the south and the north respectively, and I can only take a limited amount of luggage with me. The rest will all be thrown away. I don't like having my things handled by others, especially Ava's next partner. After going downstairs twice to throw things away, it was getting late, and I had to leave the remaining things to be cleaned up slowly. After taking a shower, I scrolled through my phone and saw a post on William's WeChat Moments. During the day, she's the female president of the company. At night, she accompanies me to an esports hotel for an all-night gaming session. She said she wants to make up for all the time she missed over the years. The accompanying picture was a photo of a king-sized bed in an esports hotel. In the photo, there was also his hand making a victory sign. On his wrist, he was wearing a men's watch that was the same model as mine. It was a couple's watch. Ava had a women's version of it. At that time, I accompanied Ava to work overtime for several all-nighters and successfully completed the company's first big project. It was also that time that our reputation was completely established. We barely slept a few hours in a week combined, but she was extremely excited. She dragged me to Mixi and bought this pair of couple's watches that I had saved in my shopping cart. I said I didn't want them because they were too expensive. She insisted on buying them. After putting the watch on me, she threw herself into my arms, rubbed against my chest, and said, "James, everything you like can only be given to you by me." Since then, both she and I have always worn this pair of couple's watches. Her previous assistant was fired just because he accidentally soaked this watch in water. Everyone knew that Ava loved me. Looking back now, it's all a joke. No one knew that behind the deep affection in her eyes when she looked at me, she was thinking of someone else. I exhaled a long breath, unfastened the watch clasp, took 2 photos casually, and listed it on Xianyu. Ava didn't come home for another night. Well, it makes sense. She went to the hotel. Besides playing games together, they would naturally do other things. The next day, I slept until noon and then got up to go to the company to go through the resignation procedures. Unexpectedly, on my way from the design department to the human resources department, many people congratulated me. I was wondering what was going on when Henry, who was in charge of human resources, pulled me into the office. "Tell me the truth. Are you and Ava about to get married?" "What?" I was confused. He was a senior member of the company, so he didn't have any scruples when talking to me. "Come on. It's already at this stage, and you still want to hide it from me? With Ava making such a big fuss, who doesn't know that she's going to propose to you?" Many people knew that she had been chasing after me relentlessly back then. Now, if Ava, a girl, took the initiative to propose to me, they wouldn't be surprised either. I frowned. "No. What's all this about?" He put out his cigarette. "You really don't know? Could it be that Ava wants to give you a surprise? Make yourself clear." "Well..." He hesitated for a moment and finally chose to side with me and tell me the truth. "Just now, someone saw a flower shop delivering flowers to Ava downstairs. The entire trunk of the car was filled with black night roses. It's not your birthday today, and it's not any anniversary. If it's not a proposal, what else could it be? Black night. I remember that on the day William came to Jinxing 2 months ago, the flowers Ava bought to pick him up at the airport were black night roses." I understood but didn't say anything. Henry glanced at my hand. "What's this?" "I'm here to resign." Sure enough. He suddenly realized. "It's the proposal, right? You're going to step back and become a house husband. Come on, let me sign for you." "Okay." I didn't explain and handed over the documents. As he signed, he grumbled, "Ava is really something. She didn't even tell me in advance. I'm in such a hurry. Where am I going to find a design director like you? You just need to get Ava to sign it again." After he finished signing, he handed it back to me and said sincerely, "James, I don't know if it's right or wrong for you, a grown man, to give up your career for Ava. But as a friend for so many years, I wish you happiness. I hope Ava won't let you down. Don't worry. I will be happy. It's just that it's only me. There is no us." Before entering Ava's office, I hesitated for a moment. It wasn't that I was indecisive. I just hadn't figured out how to get her to sign the papers simply. After the company's personnel regulations were standardized, even I had to sign a supplementary labor contract. Moreover, the position of design director was sensitive, and my family's business was somewhat related to this industry. If the resignation documents weren't handled properly, it would inevitably cause trouble when I returned to Jingxi. I pushed the door open. Before I could say the words I had carefully thought out, I saw William sitting opposite Ava. I wondered why the workstation at the door was empty. It turned out that he had already moved here. William saw me first. He patted Ava's head affectionately and called out softly, "Ava." Ava said in a helpless voice, "Okay, William. Don't interrupt me again. I need to go through this agreement first." He raised his eyebrows at me, as if showing off the intimacy between him and Ava. Then he reminded, "James is here." Ava suddenly leaned back, distancing herself from him, and looked up at me in a panic. Our eyes met. I ignored the dull pain in my chest and said calmly, "Ava, I have some documents that need your signature." I handed over the folder along with the documents. Seeing that I didn't pursue her for her ambiguous interaction with William, she let out a sigh of relief and nodded. "Okay. Ava, then you two are busy. I'll go out first." William left on his own initiative. Just as Ava opened the folder and I was about to give the prepared reason, William, who was at the door, suddenly clutched his stomach and gasped. "William." Ava lost all interest in work and stood up abruptly, about to rush over to him. I blocked her way. "Sign the papers first. It won't take you more than a few seconds." She frowned. "James, since when have you become so cold-blooded? Is this document really that important?" "Ava, I'm fine. James must have something important to talk to you about. The important thing comes first. I'll be okay after taking a painkiller." William rubbed his stomach with a pained expression. Ava's eyes were full of concern for him. She didn't want to argue with me anymore. Without even looking at what the document was, she perfunctorily signed her name where I pointed. This was exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to complete the resignation smoothly and then leave this city. Return to my original life track. Ava helped William to the sofa and was in a hurry to make him some stomach medicine. This stomach medicine was the same kind she used to prepare for me. She knew that I had a weak stomach and specifically told her assistant to keep stomach medicine in her office all the time. She said that this way, whenever I felt uncomfortable, she could rush to the design department with the medicine. She said that she wanted to be the most caring girlfriend in the world. "Take some medicine first and see if you feel better." Or, I'd better accompany you to the hospital. It's not that serious. William took the stomach medicine with her help. It seemed as if they were the real couple. I withdrew my gaze and left expressionlessly. Before getting into the car, I was stopped by Ava, who chased after me. James, don't misunderstand. There's nothing between me and William. I'm just taking care of him as much as possible because of our childhood friendship. Okay. I nodded indifferently and looked at her hand holding the car door, motioning for her to let go. I have something else to do. She was stunned for a moment. Aren't you angry? I smiled. Should I be angry? In the past, if I did something like this, you would definitely be angry. But you still did it, didn't you? I looked up and saw the undisguised panic in her eyes. I smiled and said, okay, I'm just kidding. Come home for dinner tonight, okay? She suppressed her guilt and held my hand. I have a business dinner tonight, but I will definitely come home. I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't. It seemed that even asking my girlfriend to come home felt like a favor. I had dinner outside and then went home to continue packing and cleaning. It was at this moment that I realized that when disappointment reached a certain level, I didn't even want to leave any memories behind. I carefully erased all traces of my existence in this home. I also tidied up Ava's room. But I only threw away some couple items that I had bought. Toothbrushes, water cups, slippers, home clothes. Before I finished, during a break, I received a WeChat message from William. James, look. After all these years, Ava still remembers that my favorite flowers are black night roses. Thank you for cultivating such a wonderful woman for me. It's really nice to enjoy the shade of a tree planted by someone else. He also attached a photo. The Porsche that I had chosen was filled with flowers in the trunk, and it was beautifully decorated with light strips. For a moment, I clearly realized that the sincerity I had thought I had received over the past few years actually belonged to someone else. Ava broke her promise. She didn't come home. For several days in a row, she didn't come back even once. It was when I called Henry that I learned from him that Ava had gone on a business trip again. She went with William again. However, this gave me more time to pack. There were only 7 days left on the calendar. One day, when I was packing my luggage to take to Jingshire, Henry suddenly called me. James, did you fill in the wrong address for your express delivery? What? It's the tuxedo for your wedding with Ava. The express delivery has arrived at the company, and the recipient is you. Your Ava really went all out. The wedding dress is custom-made by and it must cost at least 7 figures. She used up all her savings. Won't she live a normal life after marriage? I rushed to the company. When I opened the package, I was stunned. It was indeed my size. But it didn't seem like something Ava would do. Over the years, the company's profits had been good, but it wasn't at the level where we could spend so much money on just one tuxedo. Moreover, she probably never really thought about marrying me at all. Just as I was wondering, my mom called. You brat, did you receive the wedding dress? Oh, the Olivia family is really taking your marriage to Olivia very seriously. I told them you would be back in half a month, and they immediately started rushing to prepare for the wedding with me. Even for the tuxedo, Olivia said she would send it to you first to see if it fits. On the phone, my mom was beaming with joy. She was obviously very happy with the Olivia family's attitude of attaching great importance to the wedding. After all, when it comes to marriage, one should be humble when marrying a daughter-in-law and hold one's head up when marrying off a daughter. But the Olivia family not only didn't act arrogantly but also showed great concern. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Mom, did you give them the address? Yes. Have you changed your company? No. I was helpless. I'll send you a new address. If there's anything else that needs to be confirmed, send it to this address. Okay. My mom readily agreed, beaming with joy. By the way, since the Olivia family is taking this so seriously, as the groom's side, we can't be negligent either. We can't let Olivia be wronged. Do you have any requirements for the wedding? Just bring them up, and I'll tell the wedding planning company. I don't have any requirements. I pursed my lips. You can just handle the wedding as you see fit. Wedding? Suddenly, Ava's voice came from behind me. What wedding? My heart skipped a beat, and I hung up the phone. You're back from your business trip? Yeah. She avoided my gaze guiltily. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught sight of the dress packaging bag on the sofa with the big words, and wedding dress customization, written on it, and her eyebrows immediately furrowed. James, I told you, I'm not in the mood to get married at this critical moment. Can you please not force me? I looked at her steadily. Did I say that the bride of this wedding is you? What do you mean? Nothing. I shrugged, walked over to repack the tuxedo, and prepared to leave. Ava suddenly grabbed my arm and softened her voice. Are you angry? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just tired from this business trip. Don't be mad at me, okay? Okay. I nodded without even thinking. She was a bit worried. Really? Really? Then can we keep this dress for now? Ava hesitated. James, give me a little more time. I will definitely marry you. She looked as if she was afraid that I would force her into marriage. I couldn't help but chuckle. What are you thinking? Didn't you hear my phone call? It's my college roommate who's going to have a wedding. He just filled in the wrong address when sending the dress. She let out a long sigh of relief and snorted at me. You were deliberately scaring me, right? You can think of it that way. She knew all three of my college roommates. If she had even the slightest bit of thought about our relationship, she would be able to remember that they were all already married. Every time there was a wedding, she would accompany me to attend. At that time, she would keep fantasizing about our future. Every time we attended someone else's wedding, she would cry until her eyes were red and hug me, saying, James, we will have a wedding in the future too, right? How could I not agree? We agreed that we would get married as soon as the company got on the right track. But in the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. She never brought it up. When I brought it up, she would just perfunctorily brush it off or change the subject. For a while, I even suspected that she might have a bit of pre-wedding jitters. Now I understand. She doesn't not want to get married, it's just that the person she wants to marry isn't me. Henry knocked on the door and came in, looking like he had had enough of our lovey-dovey behavior. I really don't want to interrupt you too, but General Manager Ava, you still need to be present for the interview of the Design Department Director later. Design Department Director? Ava looked puzzled and turned to me. Are you too busy and need to hire someone to help you? No. I shook my head. Ava, I've resigned. Her eyebrows furrowed deeply. You've resigned? Why didn't you discuss it with me? James, this is a crucial moment for the company's financing, and the design department is the core department of the company. Do you know how much of an impact it will have on the financing if the design department director is replaced? I suddenly felt as if I had never really known her. I raised my eyes. So what do you want me to do? Without my signature, your resignation process isn't complete. Ava let out a sigh. You're not a young lad anymore. Don't do such childish things. Come back to work tomorrow. Ava. I smiled softly. You already signed the papers. If you don't believe me, Henry has a copy. You can go and check. After saying that, I picked up the dress and left. James, no matter how much you want to get married, you can't force someone into marriage. Do you think buying a wedding dress can make Ava willing to marry you? She promised a long time ago that she would only marry me. Don't be delusional. On the way, looking at the WeChat messages sent by William, I felt a bit tired. I drove around Jingcheng for a long time. It wasn't until the early hours of the morning, when I was chilled to the bone by the late autumn night wind, that I finally got home. Surprisingly, as soon as I opened the door, the house was brightly lit. Ava was sitting on the sofa and got up to walk towards me. Why did you come back so late? I went for a drive. Since I'm leaving, I always want to take a few more looks at this city where I've lived for so many years. She nodded and tried to hug me. I instinctively took a step back. She was a bit helpless. Are you still angry? I was a bit too harsh with my words during the day. If you don't want to work, then don't work. As long as you're happy, that's more important than anything else. Hearing this, a hint of sarcasm flashed in my eyes, but I didn't want to cause any more trouble. Okay. Your birthday is coming up in a few days. How do you plan to celebrate it? Before going out today, when I looked at the calendar, I realized that the day before I planned to leave was exactly her birthday. It's also our dating anniversary. Of course, I want to spend a romantic time just the two of us at home. Ava reached out tentatively. When she saw that I didn't refuse this time, she seemed to feel at ease and hugged my waist, her voice muffled. James, I always feel that you've changed somehow recently. You're just overthinking it. I held her wrist and distanced myself from her. I'm a bit cold. I'm going to take a shower. If it were in the past, she would have already noticed that I was freezing all over and would have dragged me into the bathroom. She would have been busy running around, filling the bathtub with hot water for me. I don't know who is the one who has really changed. By the way, where did my toothbrush and mouthwash cup go? Suddenly, Ava asked from behind me. I lowered my eyes. In this house, it's not just these two things that are missing. But her heart has long since been elsewhere. It's normal that she doesn't notice. I casually explained, toiletries need to be replaced regularly. There are new ones in the cabinet in your bathroom. I went back to my room to take a shower. My phone kept ringing on the bed. When I came out and checked, it was another message from William. In the evening, when he sent those provocative messages, I didn't have the mood to reply. But he obviously wasn't willing to let it go. He kept sending message after message. Seeing that I didn't respond, he sent several chat screenshots in a row. They were screenshots of his chats with Ava. The time when the messages were sent wasn't even within the past 2 months. Some were from a year ago, some from 2 years ago. Most of the time, it was Ava expressing her unrequited feelings. William, I listened to you and started dating someone. He's really nice, and his eyes are just like yours. William, every time I'm by his side, I feel like we're back to the days when we were inseparable. William, how have you been recently? I dreamt of you last night and missed you so much. William, I might be getting married soon. I can't let him down. Over the past few years, he has helped me become much better. I have a car, a house, and a company in Jingcheng, all because of his help. After this message, William suddenly started replying. After learning that she had bought 2 houses in the city center of Jingcheng, one of which was a large flat that was still being renovated, the two of them quickly fell in love. They kept sharing their daily lives. I know that I specially made porridge for her in the morning after she drank alcohol at a business dinner, and she would take a photo of it and show it to William. I had porridge this morning. How about you? When the lemon tree we planted bore fruit, she shared it with William immediately. Look, amazing, right? When they grow bigger, I'll bring the biggest one to the company and make lemon water for you. My hand holding the phone couldn't help but tremble. Knowing that she saw me as a substitute is completely different from actually seeing these conversations with my own eyes at this moment. Even though I had just taken a hot shower, I still felt extremely cold. I couldn't help but want to laugh. As I laughed, my vision still became a bit blurred. It wasn't because I was crying due to being betrayed. It was because I, James, had actually been a substitute for so many years. The moments that I thought were sweet were all shared by her with another man. Suppressing the dull pain in my chest, I replied, if you miss your mom in the middle of the night, watch a movie. If you miss your dad, look at the sky. He replied instantly, James, don't be ungrateful. Even if you don't leave, the person Ava will marry will only be me. I know that the company is about to go public, and you're reluctant to let go. Out of consideration for the fact that you accompanied her to start the business, be sensible. I'll ask her to give you a breakup fee of 100,000 yuan. After all, without Ava, you won't be able to find such a wealthy woman. 100,000 yuan. I don't know if it's enough for just one table of wedding banquet at my family's wedding. Just as I finished reading the message, the door of the room was suddenly pushed open. James, why did you put the watch I gave you up for sale on Xianyu? Ava came in holding her phone and questioned me. I took a look and it was indeed the one I had listed. I set a very low price for it, and it was sold on the day I put it up for sale. I smiled and made up an excuse casually, it's not mine. Didn't Henry also buy a pair of watches with his wife? Now they want to get new ones and asked me to help sell the second-hand ones. Is that so? She was half convinced, and tenderness appeared in her eyes. James, I've been too busy recently and may not have much time to accompany you. If you think I've done anything wrong, you must tell me in time, okay? I lowered my eyes. Okay. After my mom passed away due to a serious illness last year, I only have you left. Ava nestled into my arms. Her tone was both like a promise and tinged with guilt. Trust me. No matter what happens, you are the most important person to me. I used to believe it, Ava. Once upon a time, I firmly believed it. I smelled the scent of the cologne that William liked on her and felt sick to my stomach. It's getting late. Take a shower and rest early. Just let me hug you for a while longer. She refused to let go and rubbed her cheek against my chest. James, do you have something on your mind? After I'm done with these busy days, let's have a good talk. I smiled. Busy accompanying William to the esports hotel to play games together, or preparing a carload of roses as a surprise. Trying not to be discovered by me while being affectionate with William, she is really busy. She looked up at me. When she noticed something was wrong with me, she immediately became anxious. Why are your eyes a bit red? Did something happen? Just as I was about to answer, her phone suddenly rang. She glanced at the caller ID, immediately let go of me, and answered the phone as she walked out. I don't know what the person on the other end said, but her face suddenly changed. The autumn wind was chilly, but she didn't even bother to grab her coat. She ran out wearing a thin dress. Years of habit made me instinctively want to remind her, Ava. She seemed not to have heard me. The last time I saw her this flustered was when the hospital issued a critical illness notice for her mother. I walked to the window and watched the white Porsche speed into the night. It seemed that I could still hear her words just now, James, you are the most important person to me. However, it doesn't matter anymore. In the next few days, I was very busy. Since I'm leaving, I need to meet all the friends I should meet. That night, I picked up a marker pen. After being stunned for a while, I finally crossed another day off on the calendar. Tomorrow is Ava's birthday. It's also my last day in this city. After ordering a birthday cake for Ava, I cut up all the group photos hanging on the wall and threw them into the trash can. Everything related to me in this home has been completely cleared out. Probably because I didn't take my medicine on time these past few days, I was woken up by a stomachache early the next morning. When we first started the business, there were only Ava and me in the whole company. When we were busy, we ate and lived in the company. In order to stand up for Ava in front of my dad, I didn't take a single penny from home after graduation. When the capital turnover was difficult, in order to save money, it was common for the two of us to share a pack of instant noodles. At night, we still had to go to drinking parties for business. She had a low tolerance for alcohol, so most of the alcohol ended up in my stomach. Once, I had a gastric perforation from drinking. The doctor scolded her severely. She stayed by my hospital bed with her eyes incredibly red. She said that I had sacrificed too much for her. She said that she, Ava, would never let down James in this lifetime. I finally understand. Promises are the kind of things that may not even be true at the moment they are spoken. I got up rubbing my stomach. After eating a piece of toast, I broke off a stomach pill and swallowed it. As a result, the effect of the medicine didn't come quickly, and the pain became even worse. I lay on the sofa with cold sweat on my forehead. I took out my phone and called Ava. No one answered. It seems that Ava is also very busy. She doesn't even have the time to answer a call from her boyfriend. It was when Henry called me that I found out she had been busy for several days. She was so busy that she didn't even go to the company. There was a pile of documents and a project that was halfway through, waiting for her signature. Henry was really anxious. James, she's head over heels in love, but are you too? You can't just ignore the company because you're busy planning your wedding. Hurry up and persuade her to come back to the company as soon as possible. Also, I heard that Olivia from Rueda Investment is having a wedding next week. Ava had better find a way to get an invitation and go to Jingshire to make herself known and build some goodwill. As long as Olivia gives the nod, our listing will be a sure thing. Wait a minute. I was originally a bit distracted by the stomachache, but when I heard the second half of his words, I was shocked. What did you say the person from Rueda Investment is called? Olivia. Henry sighed. She's really a young lady born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Our listing depends on Rueda's attitude. But I heard that Rueda Investment is just something the Olivia family gave to this young lady to practice with. Jingshire. The Olivia family, Olivia, and the investment company. It all matches up. When Henry saw that I didn't respond, he said, James? Are you listening? Yes. I pursed my lips. I'll convey what you said to Ava. Henry was relieved. Okay. By the way, have you set the date for the wedding? I want a physical invitation. Don't perfunctory your good buddy with an electronic invitation, I smiled. The date is also next week. As for the invitation, don't worry. For families like mine and the Olivia family, we will give physical invitations to the guests. When my mom called me a couple of days ago to ask which friends I wanted to invite, I had already mentioned Henry's name. The rest will be arranged by the family. After hanging up the phone, I endured the pain and sent a message to Ava, but there was no response. So I just called her again. I thought she wouldn't answer, but unexpectedly, she picked up. On the other end, her voice was a bit cold. You keep calling me. What's the matter? It turned out that she saw the last call. I rubbed my stomach. What are you busy with? Henry said you haven't been to the company these past few days. She sneered a bit. Don't you know what I'm busy with? How would I know? Hearing this, she let out a snort and angrily questioned in a lowered voice, why did you ask someone to beat up William? When we went to the hospital for an X-ray, the doctor said that if the person had hit a little harder, his bone would have been broken. James, since when have you become so vicious? Vicious. The sharp word stabbed into my heart like a knife, making me twitch in pain. Did William tell you that I did it? And you believed him? He would never lie to me. She said righteously, go and deal with the company's affairs for me. He's in this state now and can't be left alone. I need to take care of him. I took a sip of warm water. I have a stomachache and can't go. Ava knows about the health problems I've had in recent years. Whenever I'm at home, she would always keep an eye on me to make sure I have 3 meals a day and take my medicine on time. I don't know when it started, but she doesn't even come home anymore. James. She sounded a bit impatient, as if she couldn't bear it any longer. Your stomachache is an old problem. Can't you just endure it? I've already told you that if it weren't for the fact that William can't do without me, I wouldn't ask you to go. Forget it. I'll find a way myself. After saying this, she was about to hang up the phone. I stopped her. Are you coming back tonight? James, do you have to be unreasonable at a time when William needs me the most? I was slightly stunned. I thought I wouldn't care anymore. But when I heard these words, I still felt as if something sharp had stabbed into my lungs. Even breathing hurt a bit. Today is your birthday and also our 6th anniversary. I reminded her calmly, Ava, you said that we should spend every anniversary together. If we break up, I still want to say it in person. Otherwise, all those moments we spent together in the past would seem worthless. Ava hesitated for a moment and looked a bit guilty. I almost forgot because I was so busy. James, I'll be back soon. I'll bring you the takoyaki from our favorite store on the way back. After she finished speaking, just as I was about to respond, I heard William's exclamation on the other end of the phone. Ava was so anxious that she didn't even have time to hang up the phone. She said with concern, William, what are you doing? If you want water, just call me. Why are you trying to be brave? It seemed like she was scolding him. In fact, it was out of excessive concern. I hung up the phone and looked at the empty home. Suddenly, I laughed. The hour hand turned round and round. The night was as dark as a black curtain. Except for the delivery guy knocking on the door, there was no other movement. Ava won't be coming back. At 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone rang. It was a message from Ava. James, William has been unable to sleep because his leg hurts. Don't worry. I will definitely be back before dawn. Wait for me. I lowered my eyes. After sitting there in a daze for a while, I threw the takeout and the cake on the dining table into the trash can one by one. I went into the bathroom and took a shower. Then, I sent a WeChat message to Ava. I blocked her and deleted her contact, all in one go. Then I pushed the 2 suitcases that had already been packed and took a taxi to the airport without looking back. Ava, this time, I can't wait for you anymore. My things, along with myself, will leave this city that doesn't belong to me completely today. When Ava received the message, she had just put to sleep her childhood sweetheart. The sky was already showing a hint of dawn. Her first reaction when she heard the phone notification sound was to frown, for fear of waking William up. However, when she saw the note, she still picked up the phone on tiptoe. Ava, let's break up. Ava's eyebrows furrowed even deeper. She raised her hand to pinch the bridge of her nose, but William held her hand tightly. William was still mumbling in his sleep, it hurts. The impatience on Ava's face was replaced by pity. She patiently fed William a painkiller. She waited until his eyebrows relaxed before saying, William, I'm going to the living room to answer a work call. You can sleep a little longer. Then, she walked to the balcony and directly made a voice call. But not even the ringtone sounded. A simple and clear prompt popped up on the phone screen. The other party has not added you as a friend and cannot make a voice call. Her heart skipped a beat. A feeling similar to anxiety spread wildly in her heart. She felt as if she was about to lose something that was extremely important to her. Without time to think deeply, she took off running in a hurry and almost in a panic. Ava! Just as she rushed to the entrance, William came out on crutches and called out to her. When she turned around, she saw him looking at her with a pale face from the pain. Where are you going? Is it because of my current state, that you don't want to take care of me anymore? She and William were truly childhood sweethearts. They lived opposite each other since childhood. They went to primary school hand in hand. But Ava's biological father passed away very early. Her stepfather was a complete scoundrel who indulged in drinking, gambling, and womanizing. When Ava was in middle school, she was almost molested by him. It was because William lived nearby. He heard Ava's almost desperate cries and kicked the door in to save her. Since then, Ava has been extremely dependent on him. Ava's heart softened, and that feeling she had just now gradually dissipated, and she wasn't as urgent anymore. She smiled. How could that be? Why did you get up? Don't you want to sleep a little longer? I'm not at ease when you're not here. William pursed his lips and looked at her. You don't look well. What happened? Is it that James is feeling uncomfortable because you're taking care of me? No such thing. I heard you arguing with him on the phone last night. Ava, don't let our relationship affect yours. William lowered his eyes. Why don't you go? I can manage on my own. In a few days, when I'm feeling better, I'll go to the company and resign. He had been like this since he was a child. Mature, sensible, and thoughtful. Ava felt an inexplicable burst of annoyance towards James. Maybe people who have been doted on since childhood just like to be nitpicky and don't know how to be considerate. She walked over and supported William, saying softly, "What are you thinking? You don't need to worry about my business with him. Besides, although he has a bit of a temper, he doesn't have a bad heart. Every time, as long as I coax him, it's okay." Ava. William raised his eyes to look at her, hesitating to speak. Does James often lose his temper with you like this? That's not the case. Ava was telling the truth. This time he brought up the breakup. I guess it's because I've really been home too little these days. William let out a helpless sigh. I'm saying something that maybe I shouldn't. You shouldn't be so submissive to him all the time. When two people are together, they should understand each other. You're already so busy with work. Even if he can't give you a hand, he shouldn't cause you trouble at this critical moment. If I had known. William held Ava's hand. When you confessed to me back then, should have agreed to you. If you were my girlfriend, I would definitely be the most dedicated boyfriend in the world. Hearing this, Ava was a bit lost in thought. During the more than 2 months that William had been in Jingxing, she had also thought about it and wavered. She knew. These could only be her secret thoughts that couldn't see the light. She could be distracted in the relationship. But whether it was her boyfriend or her husband, it could only be James. James couldn't live without her. And she couldn't live without James either. Whether it was for personal or business reasons. The current long-term and stable partners of the company were all those that James had won over by drinking himself silly at the business dinner table during the startup period of the company. The other party only recognized him. Even if he resigned, as long as he and she were still a family, the cooperative relationship could be maintained. When William saw that she didn't respond, he gritted his teeth secretly and said softly, "Ava? What are you thinking about?" "Nothing, nothing." Ava suddenly pulled her thoughts back. "I was just thinking about how to coax James later." William almost gritted his teeth to pieces. On the surface, he looked calm and seemed to be sincerely considering Ava's situation. "It depends on you. I read online that relationships also rely on a kind of game. If you want to be dominated by him in everything and be controlled by him everywhere in the future, then you can go back and act submissively. If you hope that you will have the final say in everything at home in the future, why not give him the cold shoulder this time? After all, you're about to be the boss of a listed company. If it gets out that you're still being controlled by your husband, others will definitely laugh at you. If James can't even give you this much face, then..." He stopped speaking, leaving the words unfinished. Ava frowned. "Then what?" As if standing up for her, William said angrily, "Then he doesn't deserve your love." He then whispered, "If Auntie knew this in the afterlife, she wouldn't want you to be so wronged in front of others." Ava listened and thought it made sense. But thinking about James's temper, she had some concerns. "The reason James is with me is that he wants my love. If I give him the cold shoulder like this, will he really break up with me?" "Impossible," William said firmly. "Do you think he loves you? If he does, he won't be willing to break up with you." Naturally, he loved her. Thinking of this, Ava felt at ease. She decided to give him the cold shoulder first and see. If it didn't work, it wouldn't be too late to coax him. Anyway, James had always had a good temper in front of her. "I didn't expect that when the plane landed in Jingxi, it wasn't someone else who came to pick me up. It was Olivia. The woman who would spend the rest of my life with me. A young lady born with a silver spoon in her mouth." At a young age, she was already a well-known powerful woman in the financial circle and had been on many interviews. With her cold and outstanding appearance, it was hard not to remember her face. She was wearing an apricot cashmere coat and a pair of sheepskin short boots. Standing beside the car, she seemed to be cold. She rubbed her hands gently and blew into them. At first glance, she looked like a powerful woman. But her movements were still like those of a little girl. Before I could react, she had already strode over, took one of the suitcases from my hand, and said in a clear and pleasant voice, "So little luggage?" "Yeah, that's right." The cold wind blew by, and I instinctively explained, there were a lot of unnecessary things, so I didn't bother to bring them back. Whether it was people or things, they all needed to be let go in a timely manner. Olivia nodded slightly, handed the luggage to the driver, and opened the rear car door for me. "Let's go. First, go back to your home." "Okay, thank you." I bent down and got into the car. The warm air filled the car, gradually dispelling the chill all over my body. Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced at the woman beside me, and my heart suddenly became inexplicably calm. I hadn't slept all night. Now that I relaxed, sleep came over me in waves. "Why did you suddenly decide to come back to Jingshire?" In a daze, Olivia suddenly asked such a question. I was really too sleepy to even open my eyes, and I mumbled, "I just wanted to come back, so I did." A very faint laugh came from the air. It was somewhat mocking and somewhat joyful. It was hard to tell which was more. When my thoughts were hazy, for some reason, the name, Olivia, kept popping up in my mind. As I thought about it, I always felt a bit familiar. It seemed that I had heard it somewhere before. When I woke up again, my head was leaning on Olivia's shoulder, and there were some wet marks on her apricot cashmere coat. I suddenly woke up and looked at her a bit sheepishly. "Sorry." She didn't take it to heart at all. Looking at me with her almond-shaped eyes, she just said, "We're home." So fast. I glanced out of the car window and realized that the car had already stopped outside the courtyard of James's house. Olivia tapped on the car window. The driver understood and quickly got into the car and started it, driving into the courtyard. My mom heard the commotion and hurried out. As soon as she saw me, she beamed with joy. "Olivia said that she happened to be going to do something near the airport today and could pick you up on the way, so I didn't go to be a third wheel for you too." "Mom." I touched my nose. "Let's go in first. It's cold outside." Okay. My mom also greeted Olivia. "Olivia, come in and have a seat. Have some tea. Your uncle just brought back some Junmei tea yesterday." Olivia knew how to behave appropriately. "Auntie, I still have something to do, so I won't come in today. You and James have a good chat." When I heard the name, James, come out of her mouth, I didn't feel the slightest bit of awkwardness. It seemed that she was supposed to call me that. My mom didn't insist on keeping her. She just gave her the tea and asked her to take it back to her father. Olivia didn't decline and was very graceful. After she left, my mom gave me a reproachful look. "What were you two doing? Didn't you say you would land at 9:30? Why did you just get home now?" I can't blame my mom for thinking too much. It only takes 40 minutes by car from the airport to my home under normal circumstances. But it was already 1 p.m. now. "Olivia." She parked the car at the door and waited for me for 2 hours. But when I woke up, she didn't mention it at all. I suddenly thought of Ava. If she did something for me, she would be afraid that I wouldn't know about it. "James, this is your favorite pastry. I transferred buses twice to buy it. Try it quickly." "James, I was afraid of waking you up, so I waited downstairs for over half an hour." Fortunately, the breakfast wasn't completely cold yet. However, even this kind of goodness was something I got in return for being a substitute. Thinking of this, I smiled self-deprecatingly. My mom stuffed a cup of hot tea into my hand. "You brat, what are you smiling about? I'm asking you a question. We arrived a long time ago." I told the truth, but I fell asleep in the car, and Olivia didn't wake me up. Hearing this, my mom was a bit surprised. "This girl is like her father. She looks very proper, but I didn't expect her to be so considerate." After my mom finished sighing, she cooked a meal of 3 dishes and 1 soup for me herself. They were all my favorite dishes. When she saw that I had almost finished eating, she said earnestly, "What exactly happened between you and that girl in Jingcheng? Your father originally wanted to wait for you at home, but I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to speak freely with him around, so I sent him to the company. Now it's just the 2 of us, mother and son. You have to make it clear to me. Did that girl do something to betray you?" Actually, originally, I thought it was okay. I didn't feel particularly sad either. I didn't feel the kind of heart-wrenching pain that is often described in melodramas. At most, I felt that my sincere feelings were wasted on a dog. And this dog couldn't be tamed. It didn't matter. The earth will still turn without anyone. But now, when I heard my mom's question, my vision suddenly blurred. I buried my head in my food. "No. James, I'm your mother." My mom poured me a cup of hot drink. "You were born from my womb. Can't I tell if something's wrong with you?" I was helpless. "We just broke up. Did she get together with someone else?" I had never thought that my mom could be so straightforward before. I was stunned. "Why do you ask that? You've always been the kind of person who sticks to one thing until the end. If she hadn't cheated on you, would you have changed your mind?" I felt a bit uncomfortable, but I was also left both amused and annoyed by my mom's words. So you've always thought that I chose the wrong path? That's not it. My mom picked up a piece of sweet and sour spare ribs for me. There's no standard answer in life. No one can say for sure what effect the wrong path you take today will have tomorrow. Mom supports all your decisions, and our family will always be your backup. My mom ruffled my hair. Don't worry. Your father has already said that since that girl wronged you, her company won't be allowed to continue operating. Our family will definitely avenge you no matter what. The discomfort in my heart stopped abruptly, and I asked blankly, what do you mean? We sent someone to inquire. That girl, Ava, is preparing for her company to raise funds and go public. My mom said meaningfully, at this crucial moment, it's the easiest to fail completely. With her character, her company doesn't deserve to go public either. Mom, you can't do this. James, why are you still feeling soft-hearted towards her at this moment? It's not that. I was on the verge of a breakdown. I'm one of the founders of that company, and I still have shares in it. If the company can go public smoothly, I can sell my shares, which can be considered as giving myself an explanation. There's no need to go against money. After much persuasion, my mom finally relented. Then, she changed the subject. Take a good rest these 2 days. You'll be busy the day after tomorrow. Busy with what? Your wedding with Olivia. My mom pinched my face. Although the wedding is next week, since you're the groom after all, there are still a lot of things that you need to confirm in person. By the way, the wedding invitations have already been sent out. Remember to ask your friends if they've received them. Okay. I nodded. I didn't sleep all night, and the 2 hours of sleep I caught up on in the car were far from enough. After having a good meal, I went upstairs to my room and planned to catch up on some more sleep. When I returned to the room where I grew up, my nerves completely relaxed. I took a shower and threw myself onto the bed. Just as I was about to hug the quilt and sleep soundly, my phone suddenly rang. It was Henry calling. As soon as I answered the phone, I heard him say, James, where did you print the wedding invitations? The packaging and everything are really exquisite. At first glance, they look very expensive, but how could you get the bride's name wrong on the invitation? I crossed my legs on the bed and looked at the warm winter sun outside the window. The bride's name is Olivia, right? Yeah. Henry let out a sigh of relief. Did Ava, who was focused on preparing Olivia's wedding invitation, make a mistake and send Olivia's name to the wedding planner? No. I squinted my eyes because of the sunlight. It's Olivia. He was stunned. What do you mean? The bride of my wedding next week is Olivia. After saying that, I instinctively moved the phone away a bit. But I could still hear Henry's shocked voice. What? James, did I hear you right? No, what's going on? Weren't you and Ava about to get married? As he spoke, his voice weakened. Even he, an outsider, probably realized that Ava didn't really want to marry me that much. I walked to the window and drew the curtains. No, you didn't hear me wrong. Ava and I broke up. I've already left Jingcheng and returned to Jingshi. For Olivia's wedding, the person she's going to marry is me. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. After a long time, Henry said weakly, This Olivia, is she the same one we talked about before? She's the same one. Before he could finish, I gave the answer. I have to say that the world isn't really that big. It's even a bit small. Damn it. You kid, we only knew that your family background was good before, but you never told us it was this good. Henry was shocked for a long time and kept swearing. Damn, you can actually marry a billionaire. Shit, the world is so unfair. Why is there such a big gap between people? I deliberately asked, What, do you think your sister-in-law's family background isn't good enough? Pft, pft, pft. Don't talk nonsense. After denying it, Henry couldn't help but ask, So you and Ava broke up just like that, cleanly? Yeah, we broke up. She probably waited a long time for me to take the initiative to break up with her. She should be feeling relieved now. She can finally be with her childhood sweetheart without any psychological burden. Henry let out a sigh. Sigh, those years between you and Ava. Do you regret it? I did at first, but not anymore. No one wants to be a substitute. But after hearing what my mom said during the meal, I suddenly understood. Somehow, the scene of seeing Olivia when I came out of the airport this morning suddenly popped into my mind. The ripples in my heart were smoothed out, and I smiled and said, Moreover, the path I'm taking now won't go wrong again. Whether it's because of the arranged marriage or the friendship between the two families. Olivia and I both know what this marriage means. Neither of us will act recklessly. And we don't dare to act recklessly either. Henry let out a sigh of relief. James, no matter what choice you make, I only hope that you can be happy. I will be. I suddenly thought of something. By the way, I didn't see Ava in the past few days, and I left in a hurry today. There's something I need to ask you to do for me. What is it? Just say it. Henry agreed readily. As long as I can do it, I'll definitely help you. I gave Ava a jade pendant before. Could you please find some time to ask her to return it? Actually, I only remembered the jade pendant after I got home. This is a tradition passed down in the James family. When someone turns 18 and has their coming-of-age ceremony, the elders in the family will give 2 jade pendants that can fit together as one. One is worn by oneself. The other can be given to one's significant other in the future. I once naively thought that Ava and I could be together for a lifetime. Now, it's not appropriate for her to keep that thing anymore. If it gets out, it'll be bad for Olivia. After hearing the reason, Henry readily agreed, no problem. Leave this to me. I'll just bring it with me when I attend your wedding next week. The next day happened to be the weekend. As soon as Henry got up, he directly called Ava. Ava had been urged by him about work for several days and was a bit annoyed. It's the weekend. Even if there are some documents to sign, can't it wait until Monday? Henry got straight to the point. Where are you? There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone. Henry couldn't hold back. Are you still taking care of William? Don't you care at all about your relationship with James over all these years? Henry, you're a mature person. Why are you being as unforgiving as James now? Ava continued, my relationship with him is very good. You don't need to worry about it. Hearing this, Henry laughed. Very good? Are you sure? Do you know where he is now? There was inevitably some anger in his tone, feeling indignant on James' behalf. Over the years, James could have gone back home and lived as a young master, but he insisted on staying in Jingcheng and helped her start a business from scratch. They, as bystanders, knew exactly how much hardship he had endured for her. Just when their career was showing signs of progress, Ava turned out to be ungrateful. Ava also got angry. Did he tell you about our argument? Argument? Henry really didn't expect that. The person had already run thousands of miles away and was going to marry someone else. Yet Ava could still calmly consider this as an ordinary argument and stay with her childhood sweetheart without a care. Ava smiled. What else could it be? Could he really break up with me? Henry wanted to curse her for being stupid, but he held it in and just said, I'll be downstairs at William's place in half an hour. Please come down. After saying that, he hung up the phone directly. Ava looked at the phone that had gone black and felt a bit confused. She just assumed there was some urgent matter at the company. Half an hour later, after helping William lie down on the bed, she went downstairs fairly on time. A black SUV came speeding over and stopped in front of her. Henry got out of the car and held out his hand to her. Give me the jade pendant that James gave you. Ava didn't move. What for? James said that this is something his family told him to give to his future significant other. Henry relayed the message verbatim. Now that you two have broken up, it's not appropriate for you to keep this thing. Ava's heart sank. Broken up? I didn't even agree to it. How could he break up with me? Ava, for the sake of being friends for so many years, I won't curse you. Henry looked at her. But I still want to give you a word of advice. Be decent. You're the one who did something so upsetting, so just break up cleanly and neatly. Upsetting? What else? Henry got angry and shouted, do you think that just because you and William have this so-called childhood sweetheart relationship, your little affair is clean and pure? Everyone in the company can see the sordid things between you two. You went on a business trip as a man and a woman, and when you came back, only one room was reimbursed. You're both adults. Don't tell me you were playing hide-and-seek in that room. Only one room was reimbursed? Ava was stunned. Henry didn't want to hear her excuses. After all, James didn't care about these things anymore. As a friend, he had nothing more to say. He just wanted to get the jade pendant back for James. Come on, give me the jade pendant quickly. Let James come and get it from me himself. Ava refused to hand it over. She had a vague feeling that this time, James wasn't just losing his temper with her as William had said. James really didn't want her anymore. If she returned this, she might really lose him. Henry pursed his lips. He can't come. Why? Ava didn't believe it. Give me your phone. I'll call him. She thought that James just needed an excuse to reconcile. If she gave him that excuse, they would reconcile quickly, just like they had done many times after an argument in the past. Henry, can't you call him yourself? He blocked me. Forget it. I'll go home and talk to him myself. Ava lost her patience. She was overwhelmed by an unprecedented sense of uncertainty, and her heart seemed to be hanging in midair. Henry called out to her, "James isn't at home." "Then where is he? In a hotel?" "Ava." Henry sighed, "You haven't been home for a few days, have you?" Otherwise, she wouldn't have thought that James was still at home. Just like on so many other days before, waiting for her to come back. A feeling of fear rushed through her chest, and Ava couldn't help but shout, "It's none of your business. I don't want to meddle in your affairs." This was the first time Henry had seen her like this. "I just want to remind you that no matter how James treats you, you brought it upon yourself." After saying that, he was about to get into the car directly. Ava grabbed his arm. "Where's James? You still haven't told me where James is." "Anyway, he's not in that home that you don't even want to go back to." Henry shook her off and got into the car. After his car drove away, Ava gradually came to her senses and turned around abruptly to go upstairs. She grabbed the car keys at the entrance and was about to leave. William held her back. "Ava, where are you going? Let go." Ava forcefully pulled her hand away, and without looking back, she even ran out in a bit of an awkward way. She didn't even wait for the elevator. She rushed downstairs directly through the fire escape and even tripped and fell on the way. But she didn't care. She didn't care about anything. She got into the car and drove at full speed. She was rushing home like crazy. She had to confirm immediately, right away, that James was at home. He was just angry. He was just waiting for her to go back and coax him. That's all. The moment she rushed into the house, Ava's heart not only didn't settle down but hung even higher. The house was much emptier. It was so clean that it was like a house waiting for a new owner to take over. There were no traces of life at all. On the photo wall that James used to like the most, there wasn't even a single photo related to him. Her heart seemed to have been dug out by something. She walked numbly towards James' room, which was even emptier than the living room. The window was wide open for ventilation. There wasn't even a trace of his scent left. Holding on to the last bit of hope, she opened the wardrobe and all the drawers in the room and the bathroom. Ava suddenly felt that she had misunderstood James. James was mature. So mature that even when he left, he didn't leave any traces behind. She walked out a bit dejected. When she passed the dining room, she finally found something that James hadn't had time to take away. A bucket of garbage. It was all food. And there was also a cake. She slowly squatted down and saw that it was all her favorite food. She then opened the cake that hadn't been opened yet. After seeing the white chocolate card on it clearly, she buried her head and broke down crying. "Ava, I wish you happiness." Even though she had been so heedless, James was still wishing her happiness. But what had she said to James in their last phone call? She said, "James, since when have you become so vicious? Your stomachache is an old problem. Can't you just endure it? James, do you have to be unreasonable at a time when William needs me the most?" The last few times she called his name, she had actually called him by his full name. Ava couldn't remember when she had become like this. She couldn't even imagine how disappointed James must have been when facing such a her. In fact, she should have realized it earlier. James had already been preparing to leave. The couple items at home that were suddenly replaced. Some small ornaments that suddenly disappeared. And that couple's watch. "Ava." William's voice suddenly sounded. Ava was taken aback. She looked up towards the door and quickly wiped away her tears in a flustered manner. "Why are you here?" I saw that you left in such a hurry that I was afraid something would happen to you, so I followed you here." William looked around the house and limped over with his crutches. He almost couldn't hide his pride after achieving his goal. "James has left?" "No." Ava firmly denied it. "He's just angry with me. It'll be okay if I go and apologize to him." "William, Ava, actually, you and James aren't a good match. It's better that you broke up." "Shut up." Ava roared at him for the first time. "He just misunderstood the relationship between me and you. He'll come back if I admit my mistake to him." William was startled. The next moment, his knuckles gripping the crutch turned white. He wouldn't allow anyone to be a stumbling block to his marriage to Ava. Not even James. But before he could speak, Ava ran away again. Ava drove towards Henry's place while calling Henry. Henry didn't answer. She kept calling persistently. Finally, Henry answered when she parked the car downstairs of the apartment building. "Where did he go?" Ava said almost obsessively, "I'm downstairs at your place. If you don't tell me, I'll just wait here." "Jingsher." Henry tried to persuade her gently. "James didn't tell me to hide it from you because you'd find out sooner or later. However, Ava, since you can't be a qualified girlfriend, then be a decent ex-girlfriend. Ava's eyes were red. What does a decent ex-girlfriend look like? Like being dead. Let James start a new life properly. She was stunned for a while and said in a low voice, I can't do it. She couldn't do it. James was like an ice-cold Coke in summer and a scarf in winter to her. It seemed dispensable. But she had already gotten used to his presence. Almost anything could have a substitute. But she couldn't find a second James. James had accompanied her through all the difficult moments in her life. Henry thought for a long time and still informed her, it's no use even if you can't do it. James is getting married, and the wedding is next week. Impossible. Ava blurted out, James can't marry another woman. Over the years, James had always revolved around her. A wedding required a huge amount of manpower. Even if it was a seamless transition, it couldn't be this fast. On the other end, Henry suddenly laughed, Ava, you weren't this confident before. After saying that, without waiting for Ava to respond, he hung up the phone directly. He didn't want to get too involved in the cause and effect of other people's relationships. Moreover, it was all self-inflicted, and no one else could be blamed. Without much thought, Ava went home directly to pack her luggage. William hadn't left yet. Seeing her packing, he couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. Ava, you don't need to pack. I can just move in. It's more spacious here, and there are more complete household appliances. James paid attention to the quality of life. After they had more money at hand, they had gradually added a lot of household appliances to the house. For many household chores, they didn't need to do them by themselves much. What are you talking about? Ava frowned. This is the home that James and I share. If you move in, he'll just be angrier. By the way, when you went to get the reimbursement for the business trip before, did you miss the accommodation fee? William's heart tightened. I don't think so. I'll go to the company and check when I go to work the day after tomorrow. Ava nodded and didn't say anything more. After packing her luggage, she was about to go out. Before going out, she looked at William. What are you still standing there for? William was furious but didn't dare to show it. He just asked, are you going on a business trip again? Let me go with you. No need. Then what are you going to do? William couldn't hold his temper. Are you going to look for him? Ava, have you forgotten the promise you made to me before? Do you really like someone else? In the few days after I got home, apart from sleeping, my mom dragged me to confirm the wedding details meticulously at other times. In my mom's words, a once-in-a-lifetime wedding required our family to be attentive so as to satisfy Olivia and her family. On this day, uncle and aunt of Olivia's family and Olivia herself also came to our house. My mom put a full green jade bracelet on Olivia's wrist and smiled. I really can't wait for you to marry into our family soon so that you can take care of James for me. This guy has always been a bit unreliable. He just lacks a good wife. Hearing this, I touched my nose and instinctively glanced in Olivia's direction. Olivia was as graceful and poised as ever. After a while, the servant came to invite us to have a meal. In Jingcheng, I had to try my best to appear calm and composed at the business dinner table, smiling obsequiously and trying to please others. Back in Jingshi, I just needed to focus on having a meal. Like me, Olivia also focused on having a meal. This time when I came back, my mom found out that I had a bad stomach. She took me to see an old traditional Chinese doctor yesterday. We got some medicine and a bunch of medicinal diet recipes. In the past 2 days, I had to drink the medicinal diet before having a meal. After the meal, uncle and aunt of Olivia's family drank tea for a while and then got up to leave. But before getting into the car, they looked at me and said, "It's still early. Do you have anything to do later, James? Let Olivia accompany you to go out and have a stroll, and do something that you young people like." I hesitated for a moment. I don't have anything to do. It depends on whether Olivia has the time. Olivia looked at me with her almond-shaped eyes. I do. Olivia's mother closed the car door reassuringly. The black Bentley drove away. I looked at Olivia and said softly, "Shall we go out for a stroll? Since we've decided to spend the rest of our lives together. It's not a bad thing to get to know each other earlier." I went home to get the car keys and drove out. The lights were just coming on. The night view of Jingshi was really beautiful. Olivia's cold face was even tinged with a touch of liveliness by the colorful lights. The atmosphere was inexplicably harmonious. "James." Olivia suddenly called me. She seemed to be considering something, and it took a long time for her to continue. "Do you really not remember me?" In her cool voice, there was still a hint of resentment. I stepped on the brake in front of the red light, thought for a while, and said, "Maybe we met during festivals before?" Then, I said apologetically, but I have a bad memory. Don't take it to heart. I didn't know which of my words was wrong, and Olivia fell silent. After asking for her opinion, I drove to the square where locals went to have fun after dinner. It was very lively. The voices of the elderly and children came one after another. In the autumn of Jingcheng, I rarely felt such liveliness. She and I were strolling side by side. When a little boy rushed towards her with his head down, I pulled her into my arms and held the boy with my other hand. She was very cold. Even her palms were cold. The boy's mother rushed over in a hurry, thanking and apologizing repeatedly. Thank you, thank you. I'm sorry. This naughty boy, did he bump into your wife? I didn't notice Olivia's reddened ears. I just smiled faintly. It's okay. He didn't bump into my wife. Olivia's ears turned even redder. As soon as I finished speaking, the phone in my coat pocket rang. It was a strange number. I frowned and answered, "Hello, who is this?" "James, it's me." On the other end was a familiar voice that I could recognize almost without hesitation. I furrowed my brows. "What's the matter?" "I want to see you. I'm not in Jingcheng anymore." I glanced at Olivia, who had just broken free from me and walked aside. I didn't want to hide anything. "Ava, it's not appropriate for us to meet again." "I know." Ava seemed not to have heard my last sentence and insisted, "I just arrived in Jingshi. James, there's a misunderstanding between us, and we need to clarify it in person. We have nothing to talk about. Don't call me again. I've always disliked being indecisive. When I chose her in the first place, even though my family opposed it, I didn't hesitate. Now that I've chosen to come back, I won't turn back either. Since that's the case, there's no need for me to meet her. Whether it's a misunderstanding or anything else. It doesn't matter. There's no need to make Olivia feel uncomfortable at this crucial moment." But Ava was being unreasonable. "If you don't see me, I'll stay in Jingshi all the time." "As you wish." I hung up the phone and saw that Olivia suddenly handed me a string of candied haws. This was my favorite when I was in junior high school. I would buy a string every day after school and eat it carelessly on my way home. Over the years, I've been trying very hard to be an adult and have long forgotten that I once liked this. And no one has ever bought it for me. After thanking her, before I had a chance to eat it, I heard Olivia gently admonish, "Hawthorns are sour. You have a bad stomach, so eat just a few bites to taste it and help with digestion." I was slightly stunned. "How do you know I have a bad stomach? Even my mom only found out yesterday." Olivia said calmly, "The medicinal diet you're drinking is all made of herbs for nourishing the stomach." I was a bit surprised. At the dinner table last night, she seemed to just focus on eating. I didn't expect that she would even notice this. I took a bite of the candied haws. "You're quite attentive." "Not bad." Olivia nodded without being modest. I was a bit worried that she would ask me about the phone call just now. Fortunately, until I sent her home at night, she didn't mention it. It's not that I was afraid. I just hadn't thought about how to explain it. I'm not familiar with her yet. Mentioning my ex-girlfriend at this time, no matter how I put it, seems to be planting a time bomb for our future married life. The next day, for the first time after I got home, I didn't manage to sleep until I woke up naturally. My mom directly pulled me out of bed. "Don't sleep anymore. You have to go and check that project of the branch company today so that you can take over it directly after the wedding." Our family's capital chain was tight. For each day the project was delayed, there would be one more day's cost. I could only get up and wash up. It was a big project. As soon as I entered the company, I dived into the meeting room. When I left the company after the meeting, it was already getting dark. Just as I was about to get into the car, a voice suddenly came from the left rear, "James." It was too familiar. But my heart didn't stir at all. If I had to say something, there was only resistance. I turned around and looked at her. It had been less than 10 days, but it felt as if a lifetime had passed. "Ava, what you're doing is really pointless. I have my own life. I can't just revolve around her just because I once had feelings for her." When she didn't want to pay attention to me, she scoffed at me and openly accompanied someone else. And when I decided to leave, if she just beckoned to me, I would obediently go back. I'm not her lackey. Ava stared at me without blinking, as if she was afraid that I would disappear if she blinked. She cleared her throat. "There's a coffee shop nearby. Would you accompany me to have a cup of coffee?" "Sure. I just wanted to get this over with quickly." After ordering the coffee, she looked at me, seemingly unable to believe it at all. "I heard that you're getting married?" "Yes." I admitted it openly. "I'm getting married. So, Ava, Whether there's a misunderstanding between us or what your relationship with William really is, it doesn't matter anymore. She looked at me in shock, and her eyes gradually turned red. Is it just for the sake of getting married? I can also marry you. Let's get married right now, okay? I remained unmoved. She became even more anxious. Besides, how can you say it doesn't matter? James, we've been together for 6 years, a full 6 years. After all these years of relationship, you can just give it up like that? Hearing this, I suddenly laughed. This question had repeatedly popped up in my mind over the past 2 months. Every time I wanted to ask her, Ava, for a relationship that lasted a full 6 years, how could you not take it seriously at all? But now, I don't even have the desire to ask, and I don't care about her answer either. Ava was stunned for a moment. What are you laughing at? I'm laughing at your hypocrisy. The waiter served the coffee. I picked it up and took a sip before saying calmly, Ava, we're all adults. No matter what your relationship with William is, you should know better than anyone that you at least had an emotional affair. You were the first to be distracted in this relationship, and you were the first to disrespect the past 6 years. Now, what right do you have to question me like this? I glanced at the pedestrians outside the floor-to-ceiling window and then looked back at Ava, whose face was a bit pale. Also, you haven't forgotten why you chased me in the first place, have you? Ava, even the deep affection I thought you had for me was just because I resembled someone else. When I said this, countless panics flashed across Ava's face. Suddenly, she reached out her hand, like a person drowning trying to grasp the last straw. James, I didn't. I admit that I did have such thoughts at the beginning, but I didn't have them anymore after being with you. James, who told you this? I'll go find him. I dodged her movement, desperately wanting to completely cut off this relationship, and my voice became a bit colder. Ava, let me show you something. As I spoke, I briefly took her out of the blacklist and sent her all the chat screenshots that William had sent me that night. With each screenshot she saw, the color drained from her face bit by bit. Each screenshot was like a slap in the face, hitting her hard. She couldn't say a word. Only her eyes were incredibly red. However, I didn't feel any extra emotions. I just expressionlessly held out my hand to her. Did you bring the jade pendant? Henry said you wouldn't give it to him. Then, I blocked her way out. If you didn't bring it, you can send it to me by SF Express when you go back to Jingcheng. James. Her voice was hoarse, and she looked at me almost pleadingly. Can't you give me one more chance? Just one chance. Ava. I smiled. Between people, there's always only one chance. There's only one chance to trust completely. Once the trust is broken, no matter how you piece it back together, there will only be estrangement and suspicion. As time goes by, you'll just find each other more and more repulsive. Such a relationship has never been within my range of choices. Ava's curled fingertips trembled. After a long silence, she finally handed out the jade pendant. I didn't hesitate and took it back directly. The moment I took it, she seemed to have all her strength drained away. She slumped on the sofa and stared blankly at me. I lowered my eyelashes slightly. Ava, don't contact me again in the future. I don't want to create a rift between me and my wife. An ex-lover should disappear completely. I didn't care about her reaction anymore. Holding the jade pendant, I strode away. Today is the beginning of winter, and the cold wind at night seemed to pierce into the bones. I tightened my coat. When I looked up, I saw a familiar black car parked at the entrance. Olivia, wearing high heels, was leaning against the car. Her bright almond-shaped eyes stared straight at me, as if she wanted to see into my heart. I felt inexplicably guilty for a moment and walked towards her. Why are you here? Just passing by. She answered briefly and added, I saw someone in the coffee shop who looked a bit like you, so I stopped to take a look. She tugged at her lips self-deprecatingly. Unexpectedly, it was really you. I cleared my throat. Before I could explain, she suddenly touched my hand with the back of hers. She glanced in the direction of the coffee shop and met Ava's gaze directly. I held her hand backhandedly, opened the car door, and said, Get in the car first. Her fingers stiffened, as if she was too nervous to move. Then, she stopped stiffening with Ava and got into the car. As soon as I got in the car, I heard her say, Your taste isn't very good. Who would say something so bluntly that stings someone? But then again, she wasn't wrong. I retorted, If your ex was good enough, would you be here to have an arranged marriage with me? I don't have an ex. I was completely stunned. I remembered that my mom told me that she was the same age as me. She's almost 30 years old and has never been in a relationship? Who would believe that? Naturally, I didn't believe it either. Stop boasting. Unless you became a nun, no one could go 30 years without liking anyone. She said directly, I have someone I like. I said, then we're about the same. She seized the key word. You still like her? No. I denied it. It's just that I had an ex, and you have someone you like. Is it barely fair? It's not fair. Why? After I asked, she didn't say anything for a long time. After a while, she said in a low voice, anyway, it's not fair. What? There was music playing in the car, and I didn't hear her clearly. Our hands were still holding each other, and she didn't seem to want to pull away. James, have you let go? Hearing this, I was taken aback. I quickly realized that she was referring to Ava. I looked at her frankly. I've let go. But, do you care? Taking this opportunity, I simply confessed to her. Olivia, I was in a relationship with her for 6 years. If she hadn't done something that crossed my bottom line, there's a high probability that I would have married her. I gently pursed my lips. If you mind, our wedding can be postponed, or... James. Olivia suddenly interrupted me with a cold face. As if she realized that she was being too forceful, her voice softened a bit. Marriage isn't a game for me. Deciding to marry you was also a decision I made after careful consideration, and I won't change it easily. 6 years is just a small part of your life, and you're only 30 years old, James. I can have every future 6 years of your life. So, I don't have the intention to mind someone who has already been eliminated. Each word hit my heart. A thought flashed through my mind. It's really great to have an arranged marriage with someone this good. After all, there are too many couples in the circle who are only husbands and wives in name. It's considered good if they treat each other with respect in private. What's more, some of them not only do their own things separately. They also have very wild lifestyles. Olivia still didn't pull her hand away, and her voice became even softer. Do you feel at ease now? I was a bit surprised because I was indeed worried that she would mind. I was even more worried that she would mind but not say it clearly. It was really beyond my expectation that she would say these words. I nodded. Yeah, I feel at ease now. After some consideration, Olivia still said, I heard that the company you founded with her before is now preparing to go public? Yes. Since she brought it up, I knew what she wanted to ask. I said, Olivia, this is a business matter, and it's something that doesn't belong to the Olivia family or the James family. Although I still have shares in that company, I don't need you to show favoritism. Regarding the financing, just handle it according to the rules. She looked up at me and leaned slightly closer. Then what if I use my power to take revenge? I was taken aback for a moment and looked at her directly. I will be your husband, and naturally, I will support all your decisions. Ava insisted on coming to Jingshire to cause trouble before the wedding. If Olivia wants to vent her anger, there's no need for me to stop her. Ava returned to Jingsheng overnight. She almost fled in a hurry. Every word in those screenshots made her unable to hold her head up in front of James. After getting off the plane, she went straight to William's house. Hearing the commotion, William came out of the room with sleepy eyes. When he saw Ava, he was overjoyed. Sure enough, Ava chose him between him and James. He strode over, wanting to hug Ava into his arms, but Ava pushed him away with all her might, and he was directly pushed to the ground. Ava had somehow gone into the kitchen and taken a knife in her hand, pointing it straight at him. His leg hadn't recovered yet. At this moment, he looked at Ava in panic and desperately backed away. Ava, are you crazy? Are you going to kill me? Who allowed you to send those screenshots to James? Ava roared angrily, approaching step by step with the knife in her hand, glaring at him with hatred. Now he has misunderstood our relationship. Are you satisfied? No, I didn't. William racked his brains to prevaricate. It really wasn't me who sent them. Oh, I remember. One day James said you had something to talk to me about, so I went into your office, and my phone was left outside. Could it be that at that time, James peeked at my... James isn't that kind of person. Ava directly pressed the knife against his neck. William was so angry that he wanted to die, but he was even more afraid that she would really accidentally stab him. He quickly changed his words. Yes, I was wrong. Maybe James saw it by accident. Ava, I'm sorry. I was too careless. Ava. William was afraid that she would really go crazy. He held her shoulders in a breakdown. Are you going to take my life because of a misunderstanding, Ava? Don't you have any feelings for me at all? Ava, you clearly said before that you would only marry me. Now James is gone, and I heard that he's going to marry someone else. Can't we also give it a try? You used to rely on me so much. Ava stared at him and suddenly said strangely, "Look at me." What? He didn't react. Ava didn't have much patience and ordered coldly, "I told you to look at me. Are you even afraid to look at me?" William felt a chill down his spine because of her and forced himself to look into her eyes. Ava stared at him for a long time, desperately looking for the traces of another person on his face. At a certain moment, she said out of the blue, "Okay, let's give it a try and be together." Really? This time, William really showed a heartfelt smile. Ava looked at him with even more affection in her eyes. "Of course it's true." After saying that, she suddenly reached out and turned off the light. By the moonlight, she tore open William's clothes and stuffed a pill into his mouth. During those business trips, they almost had an affair several times. However, every time before, it was after drinking. And she always stopped in time. She repeatedly told herself that she hadn't betrayed James. Moreover, James was too conservative. Even though they lived under the same roof, James insisted on waiting until they got married to do that kind of thing with her. James cherished her too much. But she didn't understand before. As soon as she thought that in 5 days, James would do all the intimate things with the woman at the entrance of the coffee shop today, she was insanely jealous. But she didn't dare to do anything. The moment she met Olivia's gaze in the coffee shop, she recognized Olivia. With just one word from Olivia, she could determine her whole life. But why? Olivia was just luckier than her in being born into a good family. She could only suppress all her jealousy until now. The next day, the two of them went to the company together. William's face looked even worse than yesterday. No one knew how terrifying Ava could be. This kind of affair, if not paid attention to, could cost both of their lives. But in order to marry Ava and inherit her family's wealth, it was worth it for him to make some efforts in bed. As it was getting close to the end of the workday, Ava came out of the office and knocked on his desk. "I'm going to receive the house. Are you coming?" "Receive what house?" "The one in Linjianjuan." "Yes, I'm coming." William was so excited that he stood up abruptly, but his leg hurt so much that he sat back down. Ava remained indifferent and didn't even give him a hand. He held onto the table to steady himself. After a while, he caught up with Ava's pace. The house in Linjianjuan. It was the large flat he had always wanted the most. Originally, it was the wedding house of James and Ava. In the future, it would be his. Thinking of this, he felt that the physical pain was nothing. When they arrived at Linjianjuan, Ava didn't show much expression, but William was satisfied with everything he saw. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart that James was indeed a designer. His aesthetic taste was really good. He looked at Ava, rubbed his hands, and couldn't help but urge, "Ava, when can we move in? I just heard from the decoration company that they use the most environmentally friendly materials. We should be able to move in soon, right?" "What are you thinking?" Ava sneered. "This is a wedding gift for James." William couldn't believe it. "He's going to marry someone else, and you're giving him such an expensive gift? The current market price of this house is. He deserves it." Ava just threw out these 3 words and walked out. William limped after her. "Where are you going?" "I have an appointment. You can go back by yourself." William was left behind by Ava. And because of his leg injury, he couldn't catch up at all. In the end, he could only take a taxi home by himself. But he didn't have James's good temper. Before 9 o'clock, he started making call after call to Ava. Ava didn't answer. So he kept calling. And kept sending WeChat messages. James was easy to be perfunctory, but he wasn't. Women were just like men. If you couldn't keep an eye on them, you wouldn't know which man they would attach themselves to. He really couldn't figure out what kind of magic spell James had cast on her. Obviously, before, he couldn't see how deep her feelings for James were. But now, she was acting so affectionate. It wasn't until 2 o'clock in the morning that his phone finally rang. But the voice on the other end of the phone wasn't Ava's. It was one of her girlfriends. "William, Ava drank too much. She keeps mumbling about going home, but she won't let any of us help her. She insists that you come and pick her up. Why don't you come over?" Hearing this, William smiled. "Okay, send me the location. I'll go right away." Sure enough, the person she really liked in her heart was still him. She just got angry at him because he sent the screenshots to James. He had also thought about this problem carefully at the company today. He was too hasty and shouldn't have let James have the evidence. When he arrived at the bar, Ava was still holding onto the wine glass and refused to let go. A whole bottle of foreign wine. It all went into her stomach. Since she had a low tolerance for alcohol, it was normal for her to be this drunk. The people in the private room all heaved a sigh of relief when they saw him arrive. Take her home quickly. If she keeps drinking like this, there's a high chance we'll have to call an ambulance directly. Okay, I'll take her home now. William nodded repeatedly. As he spoke, he walked up to Ava and patted her shoulder. Ava, let's go home, okay? Ava mumbled in a low voice, go home. I want to go home. Let him come and pick me up. Hearing this, William couldn't help but smile. I'm here to pick you up, aren't I? Let's go home now. He exerted some force with his hand and helped Ava up. Ava was cooperative at first. But when she opened her eyes in a drunken haze, she immediately shook off his hand and said with red eyes, Why is it you? Where's James? I want James. William was completely embarrassed. Especially since he lost face in front of so many girls. He tried his best to control his expression. Ava, you two have already broken up. I know you're sad, but it's getting late. Let's go home first, okay? Go home? Ava fell onto the sofa and mocked, What kind of home do you and I have? William, don't think I don't know what you've done. The atmosphere in the private room instantly turned cold. William froze all over and retorted, What have I done? Ava was clearly drunk, but at this moment, when exposing him, she was incredibly sober. So sober that it seemed as if these words had gone through her mind countless times. James was forced away by you. Ava said coldly, I can't confirm the chat screenshots with James now, but I know better than anyone that he isn't that kind of person. You sent them to him. You believe him now? Being stared at with strange looks by so many girls, William couldn't hold back anymore. His anger surged. I said that James arranged for someone to beat my leg, and you believed it too, didn't you? Ava, who are you pretending to be so disgustingly hypocritical for now? James can't see it. He'll just feel disgusted. Aren't you the one to blame? Ava suddenly glared at him. I went to the finance department to check today. During several business trips, you didn't reimburse the expense of your own room. It could be a oversight once, but twice or 3 times, is that also an oversight? You just deliberately made James misunderstand our relationship, didn't you? Misunderstanding? William laughed. Ava, who was it that almost had an affair every time she asked me to go on a business trip with her? Since James refused to touch you, you came to me for comfort. You're the one being cheap. Who else can you blame? As soon as these words came out, everyone in the private room was stunned. The topic was a bit too explicit. Ava's several girlfriends didn't know whether to leave or stay for a moment. They were in a dilemma. William continued, Ava, don't think you have no responsibility. Didn't you want to betray him yourself? The night before he left, he clearly called to urge you to go home, but you didn't take him as your boyfriend seriously. James is really nice, but someone like you only deserves to be with me. Ava, I'm a bad person, and you're no better. If it were someone else, they might keep slandering James. But William wouldn't. He knew Ava too well. He just wanted to remind Ava repeatedly and drive the thorn of the name, James, deeper and deeper. So that Ava would live in regret for the rest of her life. Only in this way could Ava not have the intention to change men one after another. Then he could get everything he wanted. 2 days before James' wedding, Henry asked for personal leave and flew directly to Jingshire. Ava approved the leave application. She stared at the reason for Henry's leave for a very long time. To attend a friend's wedding in another city. Originally, Henry's leave application should have been used for her and James' wedding. But now, the man who had been with her day and night for 6 years would stand beside another woman tomorrow. Ava stood up holding the table and walked step by step towards the design department. There was a new director in the design department. But James' office had been empty all the time. He had emptied his home, but in the office, there were still a few traces of him. He liked to use aroma diffuser stones in the office. Until now, there was still a faint cold fragrance. It was the smell that was often on him. General Manager Ava. The director of the marketing department knocked on the door and came in, saying hesitantly, Before, you asked me to get the wedding invitation of the person in charge of Rueda Investment. I got it. The wedding is this Sunday. Everyone in the company knew about her relationship with James. No one had ever thought that they would break up. Break up in such an unseemly way. Ava suppressed her emotions, put it on the table. Okay. The director of the marketing department put down the invitation and quickly slipped away. Afraid of running into bad luck. After the door closed again, Ava slowly picked up the invitation and opened it. James, Olivia. These 5 simple words arranged symmetrically were like the sharpest weapon. stabbing into the deepest part of her body, making it difficult for her even to breathe. Every word William had said last night was swirling in her mind. She couldn't deny it. It was she, Ava, who didn't deserve James. Didn't deserve the person who had accompanied her through the most difficult days. She had finally broken her promise. Let him down. However, no one should think they could get everything that was supposed to belong to him. Since she was a bad person, she might as well be as bad as she could be. The day before the wedding, there was continuous laughter and joy in the old mansion of the James family. Everyone had a beaming face. The servants were going in and out, decorating the courtyard and the hall. Anyone who came could tell that there was a great happy event in the James family. The college roommates and Henry all landed in Jingsher last night and stayed in the hotel arranged by the family. Early in the morning today, the driver went to pick them up for breakfast. After having breakfast, everyone started to be busy decorating the bridal chamber. The atmosphere was extremely lively. Henry was helping to blow up balloons while looking at me and raising his eyebrows. "I'm relieved to see you so happy. What's there for me to be unhappy about?" I smiled. "Olivia is a very nice person. Living with her should be quite good. It's just, maybe we need to cultivate our relationship slowly. But this can't be rushed either." Just as I was talking with Henry, a high school classmate of mine came in. I was very surprised. "You kid, I thought you wouldn't come until tomorrow." "What, you're not welcoming me?" He walked over with a playful smile. "Of course I have to come today. I want to take a look at you as a golden bachelor and take a photo as a memento." He and I were the best friends in high school. Even though I had been in Jinxing for so many years, I still kept in touch with him often. I sighed a bit. "Seeing you here, I really feel that I'm not young anymore. It had been more than 10 years since high school." He laughed. "There are also advantages to being older. If you were only a teenager, could you just get married like this?" Sophistry. I gave him a sidelong glance. He sat down opposite me, crossed his legs carelessly, and said leisurely, "However, I really didn't expect that Olivia could really end up with you." Hearing this, I instinctively asked, "What do you mean? Olivia has liked you for how many years? Don't tell me you don't know." I looked blank. If it weren't for this arranged marriage, in my impression, there was almost no existence of the person named Olivia. He was surprised. "You really don't know? Then this Olivia is really good at holding it in." I pressed him for more information. He realized that I didn't know about it. At first, he was a bit hesitant about betraying Olivia. Finally, he couldn't hold on. He told me everything in detail. "Olivia and I were college classmates. She somehow knew that I was a high school classmate of yours. She would occasionally ask me for news about you. But after she knew you had a girlfriend, she quieted down. It was just during the college reunion some time ago that she asked me how you were recently and if you were about to get married." I said. I was a bit excited and asked, "What did you say?" "Ah." He looked like he was pleading guilty. "I drank 2 glasses of wine at that time and let it slip to her about the time you complained to me on the phone about Ava and her bastard childhood sweetheart. I said it was very unlikely that you could get married, and that James was blind to find such a bitch." I grasped the key point. "When was your college reunion?" "At the beginning of this month. I think it was the 6th. Grandpa proposed the arranged marriage between me and Olivia's family. It was on the 8th. The timing was so coincidental, one after the other." Seeing me lost in thought, he shook my arm. "What's wrong? What are you thinking about?" "You mean?" I couldn't believe it. "Olivia has liked me for a long time, so she asked you for news about me? Otherwise? Is she crazy?" All day long, it seemed that something was constantly pounding in my chest. Pounding violently. Remembering that in the car a few days ago, Olivia openly admitted that she had someone she liked. The emotions in my heart became more and more turbulent. Surprise, astonishment, bewilderment, uncertainty, and also a trace of gratitude. Grateful that my future wife liked me so much. Until the early morning, I tossed and turned in bed. Suddenly, a message popped up on my phone. "Olivia, can't sleep?" I suddenly turned over and sat up, replying instantly, "How do you know?" "In the middle of the night, your WeChat Sports shows a few more steps every few minutes. You can only be still playing with your phone." "Olivia." Afraid that I was wrong, I asked euphemistically, "How exactly did we know each other before?" Although the Olivia family and the James family were old family friends. But I asked my mom these 2 days. Our two families had a deep friendship during the generation of our great-grandfathers. Later, the relationship faded a lot. During festivals, it was just that both sides would send a representative to give festival gifts. I and Olivia should have never met. The chat box showed, the other party is typing. But there was no new message popping up for a long time. After a while, the other party is typing also disappeared, leaving only the name, Olivia. Did she fall asleep? Just as I was about to put down my phone, her voice call suddenly popped up. My heart trembled slightly. I answered the call. Before I could say anything, her voice softly sounded, "James, don't say anything first." There was another long silence on the other end of the phone. It was so long that if I couldn't hear her uneven breathing, would have suspected that she had fallen asleep again. Probably because I was on the phone with her, my heart gradually calmed down bit by bit. Just as I put the pillow flat, I heard her say in a low voice, "In the first semester of the second year of junior high school, at the school gate, you gave me a string of candied haws." Some of my drowsiness dissipated, and I tried to recall some fragmented memories of my junior high school days. I really didn't have a deep impression. At that time, I had an argument with my dad, and he left me at the school gate. She seemed to let out a soft laugh. "You passed by and thought I was very sad. You were so stingy that you thought for a long time before giving me the candied haws in your hand. Do you remember now?" Now that she mentioned it, I remembered. The scene at that time flashed into my mind, and I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Who thought for a long time? It was just a string of candied haws. You make me sound so stingy. I didn't know if you liked candied haws at that time. What if you refused? I would have been so embarrassed. "Yes, James isn't stingy. James is the most generous," she said. In the quiet night, an ambiguous atmosphere filled the air. My heart almost jumped out of my throat. She said softly, "It's getting late. Go to sleep quickly. James, tomorrow, I'll be waiting for you to pick me up." "Okay. See you tomorrow." I held the phone and deliberated for a long time before saying earnestly, "Olivia, I heard that you like me. Thank you for liking me for so many years.